Representative Fry, this money would be taken from the settlement money that has been awarded to several states. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. How much of the money are we asking that this body govern, outside of what the Attorney General's office is already pointed out several programs that they plan to implement?
Yeah, and so we'd certainly be open to the Attorney General's giving us some ideas and thoughts on where they see some of this money going, but the legislature would be the body that would decide where this money goes, how much of it goes. As Representative Eisenhardt's already mentioned, over the course of the next 18 years, we'll see roughly $87 million from this one settlement. We anticipate a potential another settlement coming as well. I don't know what the amount of that money is at this time.
Okay. So the money that you're talking about would basically focus on Narcan,
Yes.
to first responders, or because I'm looking at the programs that the Attorney General is talking about, especially in treatment, and that's something that has been a passion, especially in public safety, as we've been addressing opiates and other drugs.
Yeah, so is there a question there? Or?
Yeah, is it, the money you're talking about would basically be focused on increasing access to Narcan to the responders?
We're certainly going to focus on making sure our first responders have opportunities to help individuals on the front lines when they show up on the scene. Beyond that, we can certainly have further conversations as time goes on.
Okay. As we further the conversation, would treatment be part of your conversation as we begin to address this?
We can certainly have conversation about that as the legislature makes the decision as how these funds are dispersed. At this moment in time, I'm not going to obligate those funds for future legislatures to decide.
Okay. So with this bill passing tonight, we would still, as a body, be working with the Attorney General's office, correct?
We'll certainly be open to suggestions from the Attorney General, but it's the legislative's job, in my opinion, to decide how these funds are spent as it relates to the opioid crisis in Iowa.
Okay. So I'm just trying to get a point of clarification. So we're talking about all the funds that come in, this body would govern, and then we would work with the Attorney General's office then to disperse these funds. Is that what I'm hearing?
The legislature will be in charge of the funds coming in. Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
And we will certainly take advisement as to how those funds could be spent, but it will be our purview as the legislature to determine that ultimately.
Okay. And I just want to, do we not think that the Attorney General's office would do a good job even with their plan that they laid out, that we would have to take over that duty?
We have precedents in Iowa Code already. The Tobacco Settlement Fund is one in which this is already established. I believe it's the legislature's job to determine and to appropriate those funds.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Representative Frank. I appreciate